1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, what's up everybody? Today I am excited to show you guys something very new and very, very impressive, and that is the new DB1 series from Evans. Now, the first thing I want to point out is this kit has low volume drum heads on it, the new DB1 series. But if you notice, I have close mics on this kit. And so the reason behind that is the DB1 series is designed to give you a really authentic feel, but more importantly, a more authentic sound to your practice, to your low volume playing. And so I have played many low volume heads over the years, and I've tried so many different options on the market, but I have never close mic'd a low volume set of drum heads before because there's no reason. It just sounds like you're hitting mesh. But that is the impressive thing about the DB1 series, is that Evans took the time to create an 80% lower volume drum head that has tone to it. And so right now you hear me talking through the camera mic, and I decided to do that instead of doing one of my nice Earthworks mics up close to me, just so that I can have a conversation with you, hit the drums, and just show you the volume in the room. And so the first thing I want to do here is I just want to play this floor tom for you. So I'm going to talk while I play the floor tom. This is a 16-inch pearl crystal floor tom. I am hitting that thing quite hard, and I am having a conversation with you. You should have still been able to hear my voice. But more importantly, the tone. Yes, those are mesh drum heads, and yet it sounds like I'm playing a drum set. Not exactly. I'm not going to sit here and try and lie to you and tell you that this is exactly what it sounds like to play an acoustic kit. You know it's not. But what is really important about this is that the more realistic and authentic the drumming and the drums sound when you practice, the more you're going to be inspired, the more you're going to enjoy your practice, the more you're going to enjoy playing your drum set. And so these DB1 drum heads deserved an entire video. I'm actually doing 2 videos on them because I literally did a drum cover. So excited for it. A drum cover with low volume drum heads, which is another thing I've never done before because that doesn't really make sense. I mean, I've maybe done some like joking, funny like segments of me playing drums to a song on a practice kit, but I have never mic'd up a low volume drum head kit and did a drum cover with it, and now I have because it was just an extra fun thing I wanted to do while I had the mics on here and was inspired. And so let me talk a little bit about these drum heads. I've got all sorts of B-roll for you. I've got sound samples. I've got close mic'd mixed sound samples. I've got this camera audio from the room so you can hear exactly what I am hearing. And let's talk about the drum heads themselves and why they're so different. So first off, the heads are made out of Evans shock weave mesh. And so mesh is very normal. Mesh is something that many drum head manufacturers have created low volume heads out of before. This is Evans shock weave mesh, but what is more important is they have this kinetic transfer foam. And so if you look closely at the drums themselves, they have this ring of foam that is connected to the mesh on the underside. And so what this does is it helps to reduce the volume and transfer some of the kinetic energy into this foam. And then you also have a patch on the middle of each of the drums here, which is going to improve the longevity of the heads themselves. It's also going to give you something to aim for because typically the best tone from your drum is going to come straight from the center, and the most tone from your drum is going to come straight from the center. And so it allows you to have a nice target area for where you're trying to get your sound. It also elongates the life of the drum head itself, and it feels nice to hit. helps give you more of that standard feeling response from the drum heads. And I've seen a lot of comments and a lot of quotes from drummers who have tried these out that are saying that it's much more realistic to playing the actual drum set. And I'd seen those before I actually got to try them myself, and I was a little skeptical. But in this case, I was blown away by the way these drums sound and feel behind them. I forgot to mention the snare drum also has a very special setup here. So it is the Shockweave foam, and then under that it's called a snare sim. And so what it is it's a form of like, it looks like plastic to me. I didn't see exactly what the material is, but it has these bands, and so when you hit the mesh, the bands jump down and then come back and hit the mesh again, and so you get the semblance of a snare sound. That snares off on my igniter snare, so there's no additional snare from the actual resonant head affecting this sound. This is all just the Shockweave mesh with the snare sim underneath it. Man, it just feels so much more natural than so many of the low volume setups that I've played before. Now, another thing to mention, I got the DB1 full package. So it comes with the drum heads for the kit. I believe that the standard pack comes with like a 10, 12, 16, 14 snare, 22-inch kick, and then I also have a 14 here, so I can do the 10, 12, 14, 16. But what is really interesting, and this is like, it's crazy, it blew my mind when I found out, but Evans actually has low volume cymbals that go with the drum heads. And so the DB1 full package comes with low volume cymbals and the drum heads here. And so I've played a lot of low volume cymbals myself, and I will say that the low volume cymbals part of this kit is not necessarily super groundbreaking. It's not like, oh wow, these cymbals are so different than everything on the market. But it is cool and unique that you have the ability to get the whole thing as a package, because if you just get the low volume drum heads, you still have loud cymbals. You're either using rubber pads or you are using normal cymbals. So the fact that Evans thought ahead and were like, hey, we want to make this a full package and include cymbals with it, and they're great. I mean, I don't have like really any qualms with them. Just like with the drum heads that are not 100% exactly what it's like to play an acoustic kit, the same thing goes for these low volume cymbals. They are not going to sound as good as your standard acoustic cymbals, but the idea here is not, we're going to make it a low volume cymbal that sounds exactly like a normal cymbal, because it's impossible. But the idea is we're going to make a low volume cymbal that recreates a realistic playing experience and similar tones to what normal cymbals are like, so that when you sit down and you practice and you play this setup, you are actually feeling more inspired and feeling more like you are playing a normal drum set, even though it has to be low volume. And so it's great for protecting your ears, it's great for practice. Having two of these sets in a room and being able to like do drum lessons and things of that nature, I mean, the fact that it can be a conversation level, like I can teach like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. That right there is really important to your ear health, big time, because you do a lot of practicing on a full acoustic kit and you don't protect your ears and you can have hearing damage. But also, it's really difficult to teach drum lessons and to communicate with other people while you're playing a full, loud drum set. And so this setup here, very, very impressive. I'm going to show you guys some more sound examples. I'm going to show you some more B-roll so you can kind of see and experience these for yourself. Like, the idea behind my videos and the idea behind videos like this is if you're going to spend your money on something, I want you to get as much of a demo and as much of a review and as much information as possible so you can make the decision with your money. And so certainly take my word for it. I believe 100% everything I'm saying. I'm very impressed with the DB1 setup here. But also, listen for yourself. Hear it for yourself. Experience it for yourself. And then maybe this is going to be your new practice setup, because I think that it's really, truly groundbreaking. These drum heads, I was blown away by them. And so I'm excited to play them some more. And yeah, so thanks so much for watching. Happy drumming. It's so nice just being able to sit down and play this kit, not have to wear hearing protection, and just have fun practicing. And it feel way more realistic than many of the practice setups, most if not all the practice setups that I have ever sat down and played on. So